Howdy YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Gunman. So this video here is the first part in a 4-part series on the restoration of this old BA Ford Falcon Ute. So yes, I call it a restoration. I know some people out there do disagree with me, but the way I see it, it looks like a restoration, it feels like a restoration. It's a restoration. I'm doing everything that you would be when you're restoring a car. So as far as I'm concerned, this is a restoration. We stripped it back all the way back to bare metal on the entire car. As you can see here, someone had just popped a bit of filler inside all of those holes there, so they were starting to sort of pop out. So I decided to grab the welder. That's actually my welder from home. This is what I used when I was repairing the Torana. Wicked little welder there. Got it from, I think it was Sydney Tools or something like that. Or maybe it was Total Tools. But either way, good little welder. It's what they call a 3-in-1. So you can do it as a gasless, but I prefer to use the gas. As you can see, the bottle over there. You can even use it arc welding if you want, but yeah, I just use it as standard MIG with the gas, and yeah, wicked little welder, handy to do things like that with. But as you can see, look, this car has been a ex-work ute, a bit of a runaround. It's not in the best condition, definitely repairable. I think it's good to see more old vehicles getting repaired rather than just put into the dustbin. I do understand that financially it doesn't always make sense, but you know, there's people going about the environment. If you really care about the environment, you would make good quality things and make sure you repair them rather than living in a throwaway society. But as you can see here, stripped it all back to bare metal, welded up the holes that I wanted to weld up, and got it in the spray booth ready for some epoxy primer. So this is my preferred method of bare metal treatment. In the past, I've done a few videos on my bare metal procedure and reasoning behind it, and we do these patrols. So that was the discussion topic, bare metal resprays on them. Now, because of PPG's, they've got a specific specification that we have to follow, and in their spec for those patrols specifically, it says you have to use an etch primer followed by a primer surfacer. So it wouldn't be, and it is not my preferred method. This is my preferred method. Use a nice good quality epoxy primer. This is an epoxy Thane, so that is the 616. It's a pretty well-known PPG primer. It's well known for being a good quality primer too. Sticks like shit to a blanket, as they say. And being epoxy, so the basic idea, if you do not know, with epoxy is that it is impenetrable by water. So it's non-porous. That's the basic idea. And I find that it dries so hard that it's really hard to chip. So it's hard to chip through it. What you can do, you can spray this down, and then you can put like a primer surfacer over the top if you want. But I decided to just get the entire car into epoxy primer first, and then do the filler repairs over the top. And there was some specifically on that tailgate there that was really bad. Like, it had been had quite a few times before. It had been smashed in that right hand rear quarter panel as well, but I just decided, you know what, it's just going to be easier to skim it from ear to ear and then grab some polyester spray filler. So this is why I say it looks like a resto, it feels like a resto, it's a resto. I don't care if it's a little bit more of a modern car, but as far as I'm concerned, if I'm restoring the vehicle, it's a restoration. You know, if the vehicle is at the point where it needs to be restored, I don't really think that because it's technically a modern car, because it's like, you know, post 2000, I don't think that it can't be restored. But let me know your opinion. You know, does it have to be a steel bumper, or it's not a restoration? Like, some people have said, oh, that's just a respray, and I'm like, I'm not sure it's just a respray, man. I've taken the whole thing back to bare metal, I've epoxied it, I've skimmed it from ear to ear, I've used polyester spray filler here and there. So what about that is not a restoration? We fixed the headlights, so we sanded them all back. Taillights, did them. We sprayed the dash, right? Because that was all faded. We've gone all underneath it. I introduced this workshop to Penetrol. Big fan of it. It was actually one of you guys, one of my TikTok followers, who got me onto the Penetrol, and I absolutely love that stuff. It does, of course, have its limitations like any product, but I used that quite liberally on my Torana, my LH Torana, when I restored that, and there is one tiny little bit of, to be completely honest, there is one little bubble of rust coming through. That was my fault. I was it was on the boot lid. I was Yeah, I should have. It was my fault. So it's not any of the product's fault. I was probably rushing it a little bit, and towards the end of that job, I just wanted to see some color on it. But it's all good. So as you can see there, the polyester spray filler, I just blocked that back with, I think I hit it with 80 grit because it's really hard to sand. So you bang that back with 80 grit, then go down through the stages, and then you put your primer surface on. Of course, continuing on with the job there, just got the body in there. So what I've done with this video here, I've just put the footage in chronological order. So the job might be kind of jumping around a little bit here, there, and everywhere. But this is the order that I did the car in. The order that I painted it in, the order that I repaired it in. So the clear coat that I decided to use here is, I can't even remember. Like, it was a really bad clear coat that I didn't like. So we were struggling with some of the PPG clears there at some point. I'm like, man, I need to get something like a clear coat that lays down nicely. So we tried pretty much every single clear coat. This was back when I was using like the 136 clear and the 105 clear. Really struggling with it, right? And I used, this is one of the Deltron. It's actually a solvent-based clear. So that is actually the reason that I used it up on this job, because the base coat that I'm using here is PPG Deltron solvent-based base coat, right? So the color code is P3. It's called Phantom, of course. Nice name, fitting name for the color. But yeah, the clear coat, the reason I used it on this is because we just had it sitting around, and I don't rate it. I really don't rate it. But it was kind of perfect for this job here because it was getting a flow coat. So for starters, it is a solvent clear, so you can be confident that you'll get your proper adhesion to the base coat. But then also, because it's getting flow coated, it doesn't matter, even if it goes on a bit peely or a bit chunky or whatever, it doesn't flow out, because then I chopped that back and flow coated it with the 131 clear. We actually originally had an idea, because I said to the boss, what do you want to do with this? Do you want to go to the town? He's like, yeah, just flow coat. And I'm like, oh, maybe we could sort of like sand it back and do what I did to my Tirana, you know, like get those sort of elite finishes where you sand them back with all the, say, 1200, 2000, 3000, 5000 and buff it up and get it up like a sheet of glass. He said, yeah, whatever. And I was going to do that. But after doing one little corner of the bonnet, it dawned on me just how labor intensive it is. And I'm like, nah, man, it's going to be so much quicker and easier to just sand it back and flow coat it. And I'm glad that we did decide to do that. But yeah, like it was kind of good because it allowed us to sort of use up that old can of clear that we had sitting around. And so yeah, don't judge this job on the first time I painted it. Honestly, sometimes when I do a finish like this, I'm reluctant to share it because you know the keyboard warriors are gonna come at you. Oh, look at this! This is proof. Finally, proof that Gunny's a crap painter. And you know what? You know what it's proof of? Yeah, man. Like I've had all the crap finishes that you can imagine. I've had solvent ball. I've had runs, but you know what? I never give up. I'm not just gonna say, oh look, I can't do this. Oh well, I'll if I was to agree with you, well then it would be true. But I don't agree with you. I'm not going to lay down and just be a crap painter. I'm going to strive to get the best, and I'm not going to give up. That's the difference in between a good painter and an average painter, is that they're never quite happy with their finishes. There's always one little thing that they can do. And yeah, even with those patrols, actually, there's another, like I've made a few videos on those patrols that I mentioned earlier. And even since that, I've made another improvement. So it's all those little 1%ers that they stack. It makes a big difference. But there's the base coat. There's something about solvent base coat. I swear, I absolutely love it. Love solvent base coat. Of course, it's not going to be practical to use on a daily basis, day in, day out. But when you're doing a respray, there's just something about the smell as well. Like it might sound weird to say, but you can't beat the smell of fresh solvent in the morning. Love it. Yes, the clear coat stage is nothing that you really want to get too acquainted with the smell because it is very nasty stuff, and you can probably see in the reflection there that I always do wear a mask, gloves, proper PPE when you're spraying any clear coat stuff. But a lot of the time when I'm spraying base coat and wet on wet primers that don't sort of hang around in the booth and stick to your body as bad, I'll just use my half mask. It's just a bit more convenient. You've got that little bit more maneuverability and movement in the spray booth, so I do like that. But like, it's one of those things, like I never make an excuse. I don't make excuses. Just even if you're painting a door handle, you just wear your air-fed respirator when you're spraying clear coat. So I guess as we get older, you know, we start to think a little bit more about our health. I was a bit of a loose cannon back in the day, and I never really did care too much. I used to even clean spray guns out and just splash my hands used to be filthy, but now they're as clean as anyone else's. But have a look at that crappy finish, guys. It is absolutely terrible. There's crap all through it. Potentially coming from the base coat, I don't know. I don't particularly care because it actually wasn't the finish. It still needed a flow coat, but we will be getting into that in the next video. We're going to chop it off just about here, but this is somewhat of a spoiler, I guess. This is what it looks like when it's all finished off. One of the things that we did need to do, of course it still needs registration, but we need to get a set of wheels. Me and the manager were talking about what color we were going to paint these wheels, and then I just mentioned it to the owner of the car, the boss, and he said, oh, we'll just take it down and get a new set of mags. I'm like, okay, that's a good idea. So, of course, you just imagine this with a wicked set of, I think, black. Because the name of the color is Phantom. You know, black and purple, that's the Phantom colors. Honor the Phantom by getting his color scheme right. Black and purple. That was my brother's favorite superhero back in the day, was the Phantom. He was pretty wicked back in the 90s. Like, he was pretty popular too. So, I think he even got his own movie. So, yeah, there you go, guys. Nice and glassy. Have a look at that reflection. Yes, what you saw there, me putting down the clear coat on the tailgate and bonnet, it wasn't pretty. Didn't look great, but in the end, we chopped it back and did a flow coat. So we're going to finish this video off with a little bit of shameless self-promotion. We've recently got a Gunman Edition DV1. It is an absolutely beautiful spray gun. I am admittedly a little bit biased, but I would have to say it's probably the best, if not one of the best spray guns I've ever seen. Absolutely love the colors, the attention to detail on it. And what's underneath is, again, one of the best spray guns out, the DeVilbiss DV1. And as a little bit of a value add, it does come with the 2 fluid tips. Available in digital, non-digital, base coat and clear coat air caps. And yeah, no matter which one you get, you will get the 1.3 and the 1.2 mil fluid tip. If you've ever got any value out of this channel and you want to give back, this is the best way to do it. Get yourself a Gunman Edition DV1. While you're over there, you may as well get yourself a set of Colad overalls, Gunman Edition. There's some more merchandise, t-shirts and stuff like that over there too. So yeah, be sure to check out the link in the description, spraygunsdirect.co.uk, and search for Gunman. That'll come up with all the Gunman related stuff. Anyway guys, until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out.